Sorry. Okay, sorry, my phone stopped recording for some reason. Anyways, so I think I left off with the deflection. So if we use my beam and plug in the calculations into here, into the same calculator as this, we get a deflection of 88 inches while it's supporting 25,000 pounds. So that's well within the tolerable limits, which are specified here. So if we take our total span of 240 divided by 250 for a total deflection, we'll get a little less than an inch, which is what it shows here. So anyways, you may ask why I'm showing you that, because with an 0.88 inch deflection as opposed to a 141, we can eliminate this guy here, okay? Because the reason your architect put this in here is not for weight, but for stiffness. So if we have enough stiffness in the other beam, because it's a smaller span, we can eliminate this. So that gives us 10 inches of headroom right there. So let's now move back to over here. And also, mind you, you have these guys all around the perimeter for support too. So in addition to our 75,000 pounds, these guys add extra support too. So we go back to here. So you're thinking 20-foot span, how we're going to do it. So he's proposing these columns here. What I'm proposing is, let's move to here. This is your floor plan below. Oops, sorry, there's my finger. So you have your kennel wall here, which we're going to build out of the cinder blocks. Basically, we put steel columns, which are pretty much the same exact I-beam, but inside the cinder block, and you could even pour concrete around it for stability. You put one here, and one here, okay? And they correspond, oops, excuse me, one here, one here, one here, and they correspond with one here, and one here. So now you have a 20-foot span. Let's see, where is it? There it is, 20-foot span. Okay, which can hold 25,000 pounds, 25,000 pounds, 25,000 pounds. So let's take it back to here now so you can see what I'm talking about. So you'll have a skinnier beam here. Sorry, I'm, like I said, looking through the phone, so it's hard to draw. A skinnier beam here, and then pretty much in the same place as this one is, you'll have also a skinny beam, except that it'll only go to here because we'll have a footing poured here. Okay, so you have footing, 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 okay? Forget about this, sorry, that's my mistake. And you have 20-foot beam to this footing, 20-foot beam to this footing, 20-foot beam to this footing, okay? Now these are, like I said, footings that are sitting on the inside of this wall, so you'll never see them, and they will not take away from your parking space. They'll actually increase your parking space by the time we're done. So anyways, so moving back to here, so now you have, instead of 4 footings, and again, if I'm saw cutting the concrete, 2 extra ain't going to kill me, you know what I mean? You have 6, okay? You may not even need them here because now you're only going from this to here. It's only a 10-foot span, so you can just use wooden trusses instead of the steel. So basically, what does this do for us? What this does for us is, number one, it decreases the amount of steel because these guys are cheaper and they only weigh 600 pounds apiece. So between me and 3 guys, we can put it, you know, wherever we need to put it. Maybe an engine, you know, an engine crane at the most. I could, you know, like I said, shouldn't be a problem. So you're saving on installation costs, you're saving on steel, and let me take you back over to here. And like I said, you know, from here, we're shooting over to here, and your new columns would be in here, except for this third one, which would be right by the stairs with the beam coming across, you know, right here. But even though you probably don't want this blocking your open space, this space is dead anyway because you have your staircase here. So it's not like you're going to be moving any cars through there. And you basically have to ask yourself what's better, a skinny little pole here, 8 by 8, you know, square steel tube here holding up what it's got to hold up over here, or 32-inch support structure coming across here and here blocking your entrance. So anyways, moving right along. Going to go back to over here. So what does this do for us? It eliminates, like I said, this. It makes this beam smaller, giving us an added bonus of 15 inches over here, because you're losing the 10 and you're beating this down at 5 3/4. So actually you're gaining 14 3/4 inches of headroom. So now, instead of taking 32 inches away, you're only taking 12 plus 5, 17 inches away. So now you have enough room here for me at 6'1" to be doing jumping jacks. So, and the other added bonus is now that we have all this additional room here, we can drop this to whatever height you're comfortable with at the side of the garage, and then the apex will go like this, except moving that way. So anyways, that's basically what I wanted to present to you. And again, I'm not trying to kind of go over the architect's head. I don't know the math as well as he does, you know what I mean? All of this stuff I kind of learned just yesterday. So I could very well be wrong as far as my calculations, but the ASTM people, and I've called a couple of people also, they say that 25,000 pounds per beam, that'll give us our 75,000 pounds of supporting just on the beams, not counting these guys, not counting the fact that we'll be bolted here, you know what I mean? So basically it's more than enough to support the weight. And the flexure issue, you know, the, what do you call it? The deflection. The deflection issue is taken care of by the fact that the span is smaller. And again, this is something that I definitely would want the architect to check, is to make sure that my beam plugged into here really does give me this, because this calculator I got off the internet, so, you know, I'm hoping they're right. It's from a website called the Engineering Toolbox. And hopefully they are right, and it seems like they are. This stuff also, it shows my beam here at 10W30 to be supporting 25,900 pounds at a 20-foot span, and that's an allowable uniform load. So, again, I think I'm right. I'm pretty sure I'm right, but I don't want to step on anybody's toes. I don't want to offend anybody, you know, by trying to redesign anything. So it's just something I'm throwing out there to save myself the pain in the butt, excuse the language, of, you know, of trying to hoist these huge beams in there, and to provide more room and cost effectiveness and whatever else. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I'm sure I missed something, but yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Oh, one other thing is, this is what I was trying to say with the column. If we put our other column over here, okay, instead of having the two beams, like I said, we'll have my 3 and whatever going over here. These are only spanning the 20 foot, okay, so from here to here, also using those columns, and then columns over here, you could use wooden rafters, like a stack of 4x4s, like he was suggesting before, because it's only a 10-foot span, and lay your rafters on that. But anyways, as far as this column goes, yes, it's unsightly, although obviously we could put sheetrock around it, you know, hang a picture on it or something. It's unsightly, but is it less unsightly than having this guy right here going down as you're coming up the stairs 32 inches? So, in other words, is it more unsightly to have this, let's see if I can draw this, going all the way across this way? I don't know if that makes sense, but hopefully it does. You know, coming down 32 inches right by your staircase as you're going up the winding staircase here, going all the way across the garage, or just having the one little column here and then having all this space clear and, you know, visible and basically usable. So yeah, I guess that's my presentation, for lack of a better word. Again, excuse the shaky camera, but I'm not really a technical guy. So that's pretty much all I got, and hopefully you were able to see or follow along with me on the resolution on the print. And I think that's pretty much it. Oh, one other thing, yes. The column detail, which is where the steel beams hook up to the column. See, the other thing that this presents is, when we pour these columns, we cannot put the steel beams on right away, because you have embedded ties with a steel angle bracket. You know, this is a cross-section view. I don't know if you quite understand it, but point is that in order to put weight on here, if these are freshly poured columns, you got to wait 28 days. And I know a lot of builders don't do that these days, but you really need to wait for the concrete to cure before you attach a sill plate to these, sorry about the resolution, to these 4 bolts, you know, with a plate coming out this way, and then lay this guy coming this way, meaning the I-beam, on top, because obviously that's a lot of weight, and then you throw an extra weight on it during construction, so you have to wait until it hardens. Whereas if we use my proposal and pour our footings, which yes, also if you have to wait till they harden as well, pour the footings and then put 8x8 steel, inside the wall here, so actually inside the wall here, 8x8 steel squares, you know, square tubing going up, and either bolted or embedded in the concrete, whatever the typical way of attaching is. I have that looked up as well. And then it'll be encased in the cinder block, and we can also pour grout inside the cinder block to give them stability this way. For this one, and this again is something up to the architect, we might have to run a small beam tying it to this one just to give it rigidity so it's not going back and forth. But basically what I was saying is, instead of having the bolt-on situation like this where you have to wait, if we put the steel 8x8 tubing, then we can lay the steel beam right on top of that tubing, and I can just weld it and bolt it. I mean, we obviously, we would still have to wait for the concrete to harden, but it wouldn't have to be not 28 days, but it wouldn't have to be a couple of weeks. We could basically slap it right on top of the steel column. I can weld all the sides on it. I'm a certified welder, got all the equipment and everything, and pretty much start building right away. And I don't know if you guys do that around here, but where I'm from, we would use I-beams and then encase them in concrete for columns, and we could do something like that here too. Anyways, if you have any questions, give me a call. I think, like I said, I've included everything, but if like I said, if I did miscalculate something, then I apologize for wasting everybody's time, and have a good day.